So how do you do you just tell it to start recording and it records? It already
It's recording.
I saw it.
Carne sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know what the name of the show is because I created a TikTok account and it was called Church and State. I tried to figure out how to make my X account that. I'm an old man and made an X account for the first time yesterday, and it's called The Moral State. Okay? We'll figure it out as we go on, but either way, I'm here with Landon Henson. My name's Christian Gregory. Welcome to listen to us talk about what we picked today is IVF. Which is going to be pretty exciting to talk about because I think it's the science of demons, and a lot of people think it's a miracle. So we'll just start there. What do you know about IVF? I'm downloading Grok, by the way. That's what we're doing.
I'm limited on my knowledge of IVF.
Okay.
But it is pretty clear just from the knowledge that I have that it's against biblical principles.
If somebody came up to you and they said, I have two twins that are beautiful, that are now 18 years old, living their life, paying taxes, going to church, conservative, but they were born of IVF, what would you say to that?
They were born of IVF?
Yeah, from that.
I mean, they still would, be able to gain salvation. So it's not that they're not people.
Yeah. I would view it the same way that I would view it as like a rape baby. Rape is an abomination. Nobody would ever say that rape is a good thing. But if you were to say, I'm a child born from rape.
You should come back down.
Hold on. I can't. I don't realize I need my cell phone.
Go get your cell phone. I can chop this all up. So
Okay.
Not a big deal.
We'll do that. I just don't know where I put my phone after removing anything. That's not off, man. Alright, so we were talking about how IVF's an abomination. Potentially.
It is. So yeah, it's not that they're not people or something like that. It's just that, yeah, like you said, it could be attributed the same ways like if somebody was conceived through rape, then obviously that doesn't mean that they don't have a soul or something like that. It's just the method in which they were conceived is a sin.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. 100%. Kind of be like if you're born in a household with more than two parents, that'd be wild, right? I mean, like what's going on in your household is not moral. So the reason why I think it's good to set that precedent is because I'm not talking about the people. So before anybody responds and says, hey, I think it's a miracle, there's no way that you could say that my son or my grandson or my niece or nephew or whoever is an abomination. That's just not the case.
So is that the only thing about IVF? Is it just simply the principle that man is actively going against the word of God while conceiving the baby?
I think it's an abomination. I think the conversation is worth having because when you bring it up, it opens up doors with political topics and pointers, and then religious pointers and topics, and then I guess science, because at the end of the day, it's being practiced by scientists in the medical field. I would say on a number of reasons why it's worth talking about is because it's killing children. Now, whether or not you want to call
killing children?
Well, yes, I would say that. It's killing children.
How is it killing children?
Because a fertilized egg is a child. A fetus means little child, little baby, okay? That's literally what it means. Mm-hmm. Feel free to grok anything that I have to say, but life once was just universally accepted to be created at conception. Now, conception is when an egg is fertilized life has been conceived. The DNA sequence.
There's actually a spark.
It's there. Yes, it's just a visible spark, right? So I don't know if scientists have explained that, but I think that's something to do with like magnesium or whatever. I don't know. Either way, okay? Light, which I think all that ties to the beginning of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth, and He spoke, and the light came from Him speaking, and all of that. So it makes sense but that to not go down a different vine. When you take 20 eggs out of a woman and inseminate them and fertilize them all at the same time,
We'll drop that.
okay? I would say on average, how many eggs are fertilized in an IVF therapeutic session?
IVF session.
Mm-hmm. And how many sessions does it take for a success? So this is 13 to 16.
Okay, on average, fertility clinics retrieve around 10 to 16 mature eggs per cycle.
How many cycles are there for a successful IVF therapy?
About 7 to 12 fertilized eggs.
And how many cycles or sessions does it take typically?
How many sessions
or cycles does it typically
on
take?
average?
On average, does it take for a successful IVF therapy?
Okay, on average, it takes about 2 to 3.
Oh gosh, it's like
so
like 20 to 30 eggs on average.
At least 21
fertilized eggs. Now, so let's just take that concept.
At least 21 eggs.
You've got right. So you know that woman, and you know that scientist, you know that doctor is
but
not going to turn all 20 to 30 of those eggs into living, breathing human beings that are out of that state of being in an embryo. But that is a life. That is a human embryo. That is a human life. If that thing were to actually develop, and let's just say all of them developed, they would all develop into a human being without faulting. I mean, they're all human being lives, babies. All right, so here's what's going to happen. When a woman, let's just say a Christian woman who is ignorant to this, okay, dies, she's going to go to heaven and she's going to see all of those children, unless they are still frozen in a test tube. But some of them are going to go to the
that's an interesting way to put it.
That was life. He knew you before you were knitted, before you were even in the womb. Yeah. He knew you. Okay? Mm-hmm. We are taking
Psalms 139.
Yeah, we are playing with things that is a demonic science, and we are playing it into the hands of the people that are the most evil corporations on the planet, that own the patents, that own the buildings, that own every single thing about this science. And when you give them 20 to 30 fertilized human eggs, okay, and you only maybe take 2 home with you, then what's going to happen to those other 18 to 28 eggs? They are going to be frozen in the test tubes, science experiments, okay, which all of it is a science experiment already, or they're going to be thrown into a dumpster. And now, on that note, let's just talk about the evil it takes to go and pick through your own children. Imagine if they were just spanned out, 9 months, and then they were actually looking you all in the eye, and you actually looked at them like you were looking at a horse at the races, trying to pick which one has the best bet, and then the other 18 to 28, you just leave with the doctor, because that's what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. And there are congregations that say this is a miracle. There are people that are saying that this is a blessing from God. And do not mistake this. The child that made it out of that hell experiment, that hellhole of an experiment, is a miracle. The child is a miracle. The process in which that child got here is demonic.
So I was looking at what constitutes a successful IVF, and it is a live birth, is how it's described.
They go and pick
so I guess the difference is that,
like their Pokemon cards or baseball cards, and say this one has the best stats, this one has the less likelihood for cancer, this one's going to have the best blah blah.
Okay,
And
so they once
those
it's fertilized,
20 eggs.
they look at all those things and then they can just throw it out.
Well, I don't know if they can. It's a matter of what they say that they do and what they actually do. And some of them are, of course, going to be just. Some of them
Or if fertilized eggs, if you have 21 fertilized eggs, do they all get put into
a freezer.
the mother?
No,
or the
no.
attempting
Out of the
mother?
20 eggs,
So they choose the best.
One or two are chosen. So I believe
To try.
twins are often the thing that come
Gotcha.
from IVF.
So it's not that they're implanting all of them and we're waiting
They're
on them
inseminating the eggs
to start
outside.
growing, and some of them don't
Yes.
grow. It's not that.
And then so an argument, which is not an argument, but something I've heard debating this is, well, the reason why they have to inseminate so many is because it's an incredibly difficult procedure to keep these things alive outside of the womb.
Yeah.
And I would say that is validating everything that I'm criticizing.
Well, that would be for a reason. Yeah.
It is natural against nature, against God's intention. Now, do not be mistaken on anything that is evil. God can use anything for His benefit, be it good or evil.
Absolutely.
So these children that are
Absolutely,
born
Jeremy.
can grow up and become the next, I don't know, Forrest Frank singing to somebody. Who knows? But what?
Yeah, they could lead. They could be the next Billy Graham, if you will, and lead millions to Jesus. That is up to God.
Yeah, but I can tell you one thing: if that
Fine.
kid grew up saying that IVF is something that needs to be promoted, then he's mistaken. Just like everybody else that's saying it. And to be fair with you, everyone's gonna say, "Well, I can't have a baby." Well, sorry. Pray about it. That's what the Bible said to do, and be prepared for God to tell you no. That would be a really good thing to go into prayer expecting that maybe I'm probably going to get told no. In fact, you should probably expect it because you're not God, and you don't need to force things that we're not supposed to be.
It's true.
That
always, whether it's we're talking about conception or not. I mean, when you place yourself, that's the first sin, is trying to place yourself
above God
or equal to.
Yeah.
And when that happens, that can come in many forms. When that happens, it always turns out bad.
Yeah. Lucifer said, "I can do this
matter.
better than you," and so did the doctor that has a pile of corpses that are microscopic that are just in the middle of. I'm sorry, I probably wasn't supposed to cuss, but so is there. There's literally, hypothetically, a garbage can full of fertilized babies, or a incinerator that has microscopic ashes from the microscopic babies that were inside of it. But they were babies nonetheless, and
I mean, if it was conceived, then we have to assume that, it had unique DNA that developed. So is that a soul?
Yeah.
So DNA is effectively a soul.
I think when
I believe
Abel, I think when Abel was killed,
has something to do with it.
Well, when Abel was killed, what did God say to Cain? Your brother's blood cries from the ground.
Yeah, that is true.
So life is in the blood, and that is also biblical. That life is in the blood.
So
your blood is formed at conception.
Right. So Psalms 139, 13 through 14. For you formed my inner parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. So,
hold on, but
this is one principle that we can draw from Scripture, that God knitted us together, and to effectively do that and procreate outside of a biblical marriage is a sin.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get on the topic of procreation, where it says, you know what? Sex is meant to bring life into this world, but it's also meant to be pleasurable between your wife. So, to the lunatics that say that sex is just for procreation and not for pleasure, you're a lunatic. You need to read the Bible and take appreciation of what God made, because it is beautiful.
Here's another one for you. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the
That's
womb,
the one I'm looking at right now.
I knew you, and before you were born,
Yeah.
I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations.
Yeah, so before you were in the womb.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And other,
when that life was created.
I knew you means that, he already has a purpose for you. I'm sure we could find more. But
So,
those two main ones.
here's what I think.
Very important.
Here's where, alright, so I think that we can agree on that. We're probably going to agree with almost all of this.
Probably. Probably not a lot of diversity to thought here.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to choose this topic is because I think that everything that's going on in the world has a spiritual spirituality behind it, and then a political aspect behind it. I think all of them. Jesus says that we don't battle with the flesh, but we battle with the spirit and principalities. Well, here's the fun thing: if I hit him in the face right now, he's going to physically feel that in the flesh, but there would be a spirit or principality behind where that hit came from. So I think it's okay to address both. Right,
and
so
I will turn the other cheek.
I'm not gonna test that, but what I think is there's a spiritual concept to IVF. Now I think we kind of discussed our understanding of that. So let's move on to the political side of it. Number one, I don't want to pay $1 to what I just described going on, and there's a lot of tax. I think
should be some kind of religious exemption.
Now maybe I'm wrong. So for the record, anybody that wants to criticize me, I'm probably going to be wrong on a lot of things, because I am just having a layman's conversation about this, right?
Yeah.
So
effectively,
I do think in some circumstances that is covered with like Medicare or something. Right.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you.
What I am sure of is that we are paying for research into that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I don't want my money's going to that. But here's what I find interesting on just a note is when I brought this up with people that I thought to be conservative, they immediately thought that they made statements like, "You can't tell a woman what to do."
Oh. Yeah, hold on. So is the principle of, because this is where a lot of conservatives get hung up, is that we do have declining birth rates. So is it more important to promote a higher birth rate and break the word of God? Or is it more important to keep the word of God despite?
No, I think what would be heavily emphasized is marriage. Okay, proper things.
Right.
The reason why people need IVF is because there's something fundamentally in our society that's allowing the decline happening. So it could be maybe the poisonous food that we're eating. It could be that
we put our
daughters on birth control the moment that they start experiencing a menstrual cycle.
It's social media.
Would say that as well.
It's there's just a lot of declining sterility.
That fat thing that helps you stop getting fat is known to
probably not great.
No, it's actually like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like lawsuits. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. Allegedly, that stuff is the reason why a lot of people are becoming barren or sterile. And I'm sure, like anything, by the way, even melatonin is hormonal, right? The stuff that helps people sleep, it helps you sleep because it affects your hormones. The stuff that we're putting in our bodies affects our hormones, especially the food we eat. So I think that we could bring that up into a conversation, but what the church could do in the pulpit is say, get married as soon as you can, have as many kids as possible, and let's come across our community.
Like Charlie Kirk said, have more kids than you can afford.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will force you to grow.
And we're both on track to do that. So I think there is also a connection. This would be when you stick to a more godly society will be more fruitful all around. And I think that also plays into birth rates. So you can track declining birth rates with our society beginning to shun God.
Yeah.
I think that religion is...
Well, what is it? What does it also say to people that shun God? What does it say about the people from outside of the community coming in and enjoying the fruits of the labor? It's a curse in the community when you reject God that the foreigner will come into your field.
That's true.
And
be applied to immigration.
You want to know why? You want to know why that's brought up is because we are actually having such a decline in birth rates that we won't be able to maintain the current industrial civilization that we have. But here's the question: do we need to have all this stuff so industrialized? And maybe a natural crash is better than and that would fix inflation, the dollar, rather than constantly inflating it by propping up by bringing people in, right? So if it opens up a can of worms, like, do we want to fix society by having more kids, or do we just want to fix society by fixing society with the people that we have right now, and then the kids that come out, we actually just raise them correctly and let that generation actually? I don't think.
Yeah. So, well, one of the problems is that why at least active decisions in like the millennial generation or Gen Z the excuse would be everything is too expensive. So then you have like a lot of conservatives like, oh, we got to make things cheaper, which we do, but should that be the first thought? We should be, at least our churches should be preaching against that being the ultimate solution. It is 100% God.
Ooh.
So go on faith, have the children, don't live out of fear.
Well, I think the first thing is what you say, go on faith. Going on faith is living out a particular life and having a particular set of boundaries in which you operate with the group that you're living in, which is a cultural thing. So it all stems from the culture, right? We have to protect the culture.
Yes.
Now, I don't think having more children in a terrible, corrupt, satanic culture is the answer. I think having more children and fixing the culture. And I honestly think maybe starting with fixing the culture rather
but
than
if you're raising,
kids.
I mean, if you're raising your children on the Bible and raising them in church,
but I think what the topic we're having is kind of bleeding in from inside the house to outside the house. Now, inside the house, I think that we have that.
Yeah, I mean, the family goes outside the house.
But I think what I'm getting at is, I can't tell somebody. I don't think I want to tell everybody to go and have kids if those people that are having kids are directly in contrast to a Christian lifestyle and culture. So there's some people that need to stop having kids. There's entire groups of people that need to stop having kids.
Yeah, I mean, women with 9 kids on welfare should probably stop having kids.
Yes, people coming here just to have kids to leech off of the system. So it's not about telling the broad civilization to have kids. It's about changing the civilization and then raising those kids in that civilization to then maybe add more kids. You know what I'm saying? But like, let's before we create a whole bunch of water that's going to create the flood, let's at least direct it in a certain direction. Direct it towards Christianity, towards European morals, and then like at the end of the day, dude, like, we've got to figure out who's on your side, who's conservative. So the reason why I think the IVF topic is a really good one is I hate to go left and right, but that at the end of the day, it's just a simpler way of looking at the world. If you just, for at least top of the iceberg conversation, you can break it apart to a million different things, but there's right and wrong, okay? There's left, there's right. And then in the political realm, there's conservative and there's liberal. You can't be conservative and be pro-IVF. You can't be conservative and pro-abortion, because the thing that we conserve as conservative is life. And if you are fundamentally killing and bringing death, then you are not conserving life.
Yeah.
And then you conserve nothing. So you have to be a libertarian at that point. You don't necessarily have to call yourself a leftist, but you sure as are not in my camp, right? And you don't belong in my camp. My camp preserves the life of all beings up until you choose as an adult, if you want to commit a murder.
I'll be bleeping you, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. if you want to commit a murder, if you want to commit a murder as an adult, you can die the death penalty. That's a whole different conversation. I'm not gonna let it bleed into this, but all life, all children, life is precious. Life is meant to live. Life wants to live. Life is not going to choose death. Okay, you can that little penguin that walks into the wilderness. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about
ultimately killing 20 babies to get one.
Yeah, that we're just talking about God's creation.
Ultimately, yeah.
God's creation
the
was
life
never to
and
have
death balance does not balance out.
Yes. Well, then God's creation in general was never to have death to enter our body at all.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're conserving life, what is life? That comes directly from Jesus Christ, the Creator. So all of it ties in. This one conversation allows, I think, a good launch pad to say, hey, I'm going to be talking about the political realm on multiple levels, whether it affects you at home or it affects you in the community or it affects you in the country, right? But what I think needs to be a grounded direction of where we go is talking about the culture.
All right, you're Gavin Newsom and me right now.
It's talking about it's talking about the culture, right? Because how do we change that? Well, I can't change it by just saying tomorrow I'm going to go out and change the world, right? But I can change it by having a conversation. I would much rather, this is awesome, but I would rather have this conversation in a bar with 3 to 4 other people, louder, to where the people on the other side of the building could hear us talking, and the people that didn't like what we were saying joined in on the conversation.
This sounds not good for safety.
Well, no. I think that's how this country was formed. Is
specifically from liberal women.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to. When I go to a bar, I'm not thinking of women in bars. To be honest with you. The only bar I want to go to with women in, I don't belong in. You know what I'm saying? So,
I understand.
But leave your woman at home. To be honest, guys, come on. But
all right.
So, but no, Mike. I mean, let's take it for example, right? So, do you think we'd be struggling with the 6 million aborted fetuses, 6 to 8 million aborted fetuses that we have in America alone? Or I think that might have been New York is responsible, because I think on average there's 800,000.
It's definitely an inner city.
I think it's 800,000 abortions done in America a year, right?
How many?
800,000.
It went up. It's over 1 million.
Oh, okay. Well,
so actually, by the way, when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and the right went back to the state to decide, abortions went up.
Yeah, because people, that's why women don't deserve the right to vote.
Because it actually gave more freedom to states that do.
Yes.
And the people from the states that don't travel to those states.
Women will react in such an emotional way that they're willing to kill children just out of spite. So why would you want to invite that to the ballot box? Why? That's insane.
Maybe this should be our next episode. We can talk about the 19th Amendment and how it affected men's wages and voting.
Yeah, I think we should.
And how that, because it was, not to change subject.
No, I think, yeah, I don't
But
know how long
it
we've been going for.
was effectively one vote per family.
This is what it needs to be. This is what it needs to be. I think it would be super strict. I don't think it would necessarily benefit me, like, in a way that I if I said these rules that I'm about to say and they didn't benefit me, I'd still think that they were the better way of doing it. If you don't own land, you probably shouldn't vote. Okay. But
yeah, you gotta have some skin in the game.
I'll leverage with if you pay taxes, and by all means you have an argument to vote. So
but
you're collecting,
we weren't taxed.
Huh?
We didn't have income tax for the majority of this country.
Yeah.
The history of this country. So back then it made sense. Now that we're getting taxed, it's harder to make that argument. But I also don't want to be taxed. We should get rid of the income tax, and then we can go. We can say that again.
But I mean, yeah, I think there should be a distinction between people that pay taxes and don't tax it. If we are going to look at the society that is taxing you at the wazoo, the people that benefit from it, we should look at like
at least. Are you?
We'll have that conversation. At some
Are you
point.
paying more tax in than you're taking? We could say that. You know what I mean? So if you're becoming effectively a burden on the system, shouldn't you have a right to
If
vote?
you are receiving more benefits than you are paying into, I think that's a solid. I think these are good things. Also, I don't think if you're an immigrant, you should be able to vote ever. Sorry about that generation. Now,
wait,
maybe
what kind of immigrant? Like, are we talking about illegal, or are we talking about legal immigrants, or are we talking about immigrants who have been nationalized?
All of them. Until you
even nationalized citizens.
Until you have reached the fourth generation on at least one side of your family, American, I think only Heritage Americans should be able to vote. Now, Heritage Americans, obviously,
if you're born here.
No, generations.
And your parents.
No, I'm talking like you are
like 4 generations.
I'm talking. All right, so we were saying this.
I don't even know if I could vote.
This is the first immigrant.
Sure.
Hold on. This is the first immigrant. This is the first immigrant here. They can't vote. Their son can't vote. Their son's son, so their grandson can't vote, but your great grandson can vote. Absolutely. And the reason why I think that is because I'm going to give you just a little example right down the street. I live in a very, it used to be a small community. I mean, like, of itself is a large community, but I lived out in the county portion.
Don't tell people where we live.
Listen, come find me. I'll give you a good lecture.
So many bleepings.
But it's
right.
okay. But so what I'm getting at is there's this Indian-owned gas station right off next to, and they've been there just as long as I have. Their daughter sounds like she just moved here yesterday, and I've watched that child be raised from an infant. She does not sound American. Well, that human being is not American. I don't care how many papers you sign. Yeah. Nothing on paper will make you American. What makes you American is your heritage. That heritage is Indian. And you can tell it from blinding me and just saying 3 words. I'll know that you're not from here. And I would actually know where you are from.
I don't know if this is the best.
You're not American. And I'm not, because I sound American. I sound American, that's why.
Or the worst. I don't know which one it is.
Yes.
But, I mean, it is possible. Well,
on one side,
I would say it's possible. Well, what if they still have an accent after 4 generations?
Yeah, hey man,
you
earned it. You earned it, dude. No, at that point.
Okay, you earned it.
No, but here's the thing: it's not saying that you can't speak.
I know.
It's not saying you can't speak. Like, I would also say this: if you can't speak English, you should get fined.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like if,
But I will
is
say-
that unconstitutional? Says where
Like people, like folks that are from children of immigrants that are born here,
you're not American.
know very good English
Yeah, okay.
So I will say-
I'm just saying. Listen.
on average.
Yeah, that's on average. On average,
Yeah, and it typically is like it's a bilingual. They can speak English very good.
If both parents,
And-
if you were,
I'm not arguing for birthright citizenship.
I'm just saying like if I can't say that if you were raised in any household that is not American that moved here, okay, both your parents are from another country and they moved here and they raised you in that house. You were just a Serbian raised in America, an Indian raised in America, a whatever raised in America, Russian, whatever. Whatever your parents are, that's what you are. 100%. You were just raised in America, and you have American papers, but you're not American.
What about my wife? For instance, she is technically first generation.
Yeah, not American. Now your son is.
She's a citizen.
Yeah, you're a citizen. No, listen.
But she also came over here when she was 5,
So-
and she does not know a lick of Russian.
Gosh, this is what I was reading earlier. So it's talking about the foreigner, right? Because it just says respect the foreigner, right? But it makes a difference. You're still a foreigner. You can be a resident foreigner, right? Like there's nothing wrong with residency, but like stay out of my political debate. Like you don't get a vote. Like why in the world if an Iranian came here right now, if 2 Iranians showed up from Iran, where we just started a war, and they raised a whole family of 5 people in that house, boy, girls, whatever, and then 20 years later, it's their opportunity to vote, and the vote is like, hey, if you vote for this person, we're sending money to Iran. Who do you think they're voting for? Like, I mean, really?
Yeah.
They're not voting for anything
And
here.
you think this doesn't have anything to do with IVF, but we're about to turn it.
No. The reason why. No.
Because those people are the people
that are replacing us. They're replacing us. Now go to college. Go to a college. There is an actual effort to replace not just Christian, but like European culture and history. Where did all the statues go? What did they use to get rid of the statues? They used a different group of people that weren't American to get rid of them. And even though that they were born and raised in America, they still didn't identify as American, even though they've been here for centuries. They used that group of people. So what do you think they're going to do when you have swaths by tens of millions coming from your southern border that are coming over here and breeding like freaking rabbits? What do you think? And they don't even speak your language. When you go to court for a speeding ticket and you're in front of a judge and she's got the broken English, or how I can't even talk like they talk, but like, dude, imagine the person that you call for IT being the person that's going to decide your fate. Seriously, I walked in,
True.
like, God, like, dude. And it's like so. I don't really need to bring receipts. All I got to do is roll up the window, or turn on the news, or you can just flick your screen. Like, I mean, dude, it's not an argument of whether or not it's happening. It's an argument of whether or not you're willing to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Go to college. All right. Your son's gonna have a hell of a time getting.
We have to talk about IVF more than what we talk about.
No, but like the reason why, again, I used IVF as a launch pad to talk about all of this stuff. It's a cultural problem, and the cultural problem, at the end of the day, this is what's insane. From the tippy top of the rot to the very bottom, where we literally think that it's a miracle, is there's dead children's bodies on both ends of the spectrum. From absolute heinous evil to just innocent, well, let's try it. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop trying diversity. Okay? Let's start trying homogeny. Let's stop allowing certain people to have opinions that are brought into the circle. That's women. Sorry about it, dude. And then, like, you have a problem? Talk to your husband. Tell your husband to bring it to the next men's meeting. Okay? Like, Paul was right. Shut up, dude. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with you trying. Priscilla and Aquila were wonderful people, right? We needed Priscilla. But just a newsflash, Aquila is not a woman. That was her husband, okay? So, that, you still need...
I think women should have opinions.
Women should have opinions, but
I'm not saying
no
that
one's
all
saying
of their
women can't
opinions
have
should count.
No one's saying women can't have an opinion.
But yeah.
You don't get a vote.
But typically,
you don't get to say so.
How many times have you been stressing about something, or you've been, you don't know how to make a decision? And I'm not good at filtering this to my wife personally. I'm not great at that. I need to get better at that. But typically, even if they're not, like, the wife is there to be your helper.
Yeah, that's literally what.
And oftentimes
was put forward.
They do have the right answer.
Okay, helping and turning over authority to is different.
Yes.
Okay, women absolutely have a place in society. They're no different.
If you're asking me,
which is more important, the steering wheel or the wheel on the car?
A woman president.
They're both valuable. Okay, they're both valuable.
Yeah.
All right, but at the end of the day, okay, what Jesus said is that the steering wheel picks the direction. Okay, the wheel will help you get there. Okay, so I'm the steering wheel, I'm the spearhead, she's the shaft. Okay, or I'm the whole arrow and she's the bow. All right, it is literally biblical for just
if you give Jesus authority as the Messiah and husband of effectively of Christians.
Yeah.
We give him that authority, or he has that authority.
I think your wife is your mirror.
This is modeled in the familial.
Yes, your wife is your mirror. So at the end of the day, my wife, if my wife puts her foot down, then she's going to put her foot down. I'm going to respect it. But if I actually, at the end of the day, choose to put my foot down over hers, I'm going to be honored.
Yeah.
Okay.
So ultimately,
there's no let me flex on you, right? And if there is, then that's when I need to take a point of reflection and say, hey, I came at that.
We're immediately going to get banned.
Yeah.
You know this, right?
Really?
Oh yeah.
I follow people on YouTube that say a lot of stuff.
This is so bad. YouTube's got better.
Yeah.
We can definitely post on X.
So. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like, you're not supposed to quarrel with your wife. Your wife's not to quarrel with your husband. You're supposed to love and exalt your wife, right? I mean, at the end of the day, she's supposed to be, like, a crown to you. You know what I'm saying, right? And, like, that's what I have. I have that because we have a godly relationship. One thing that my dad put in is that you put God before us. Now, we want to bring it back to IVF. God told us to go be fruitful. He didn't tell us to go just take a turkey baster, suck out some eggs, and then all over them and figure out which one's the best, right? You think?
No. No, that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. I don't think that's what he intended. But I think that all of society's problems tend to funnel to the death of children.
Yeah, I mean, historically.
And it's insane. It's
kind
insane.
of always how it happens.
And I feel like having any conversation at this point in today's society with the Epstein files going on, with, just the demonic worship, the absolute lying, the thieving, the warring that's going on throughout the entire world and within your community and through your governments and leadership and the powers that be, right? We have to turn to God, but we need to turn to God and start addressing the problem, right? Like, when my house caught on fire right now,
Yeah.
I'm going to pray to God the fire goes out. At the same time, I will be trying to put it out with water, right? And the way I can put out a fire is by addressing that there is a fire, okay? It's not just something to pray over. It's something to immediately get up and do something about. And if you can't do something about it, like I can't stand in front of a Planned Parenthood or an IVF clinic and just do what I actually want to do. But what I can do is I can talk about it, right? And voices at the end of the day do have power. Jesus talked. That's what he did. He performed miracles, but outside of that, he talked, all right, and changed the world with his message. So did all the other people you've ever heard about, maybe aside from Elon Musk, because he actually built stuff. But like, talking is going to solve this problem. Talking about it with your friends. But I honestly think the reason why we're filming this is because other people need to be brought into the discussion. And then when you have 2 people turn into 5, 5 turn into 15, 15 into 50, you've got a solution right around the corner, right?
Maybe.
That's how the country got made.
Yeah.
How many people signed the Declaration of Independence?
55.
Yeah, 75 more than 50 for you. So, yeah.
Then you really do.
Yes, dude. Give me a papyrus, dog. We'll ink it up, dude. But like, that's what we have to do. And I do think what would be really cool is if we did this out at a bar. Are we allowed to podcast at a bar?
Probably not. Yeah. I mean, they could tell us to stop. We can start it.
Yeah, it'd be funny to just end up here like 30 minutes in. So we got kicked out. All right. Well, I feel like that was a good little run on IVF.
Yeah, IVF. Final answer.
Yeah, dude. It's
No.
No, can't do that. No.
Quit.
No. Imagine. Just remember, the next time you see somebody carrying an IVF baby, they've got life in their belly, but bodies on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Their own children's bodies. That's rough.